Hey everyone, I'm Nicholas Cruz, joined by Dominik Estrada, who plays for Team Mexico, and he's super excited to be joining us here for the AmeriGol LATAM Cup in 2023 here coming up at the Coral Springs Florida Panthers ice. And Dominik, thank you so much for joining me. How you doing today, bud?
Thank you for having me, Nick. I'm actually doing really well, and every day that gets closer to this tournament, I just get more and more excited.
Yeah, this year we definitely have a lot of teams coming back, returning. We have new teams joining us like Greece, Armenia. And it's to me, it's a magical to see how important the game is growing for us. For us as Latin Americans, you representing Mexico, my family's from Colombia, being a first generation born. There's a lot of good roots that are being planted for the future of hockey, especially for those in Latin America and around the world. Which leads to you, Dominik, and that's why you're here today. We want to talk a little bit about you and talk about your story. So, Dominik, so tell us a little bit about how you heard about hockey, where'd you start from, and where are you from? Tell us about your story.
So, so I was actually born in the States. I was born in Southern California. My grandparents are from Mexico, and my mom is also a Mexican citizen, which is how what ties my roots back to Mexico, being home. Um, but I didn't start playing hockey until my family relocated to Alaska due to parents finding work up there. A friend of mine, when I was playing football, said, "Hey, you know what? During the winter, we all play hockey. My dad's the coach. He was also the football coach at the time. So I'm like, never been on ice, never even really heard of the sport. So let's give it a shot." And then ever since then, I think, 8 years old. I haven't looked back since.
And when you get a chance like that, I mean, the moment for you must be magical, right? Especially we don't when we usually typically think about any sport that's Latin America, we think about soccer as we call it football, or how important that game is. And so, I mean, when you get a chance to experience like something like that culturally, it's very different. That's even for myself. I just find it a unique experience, right? So when we think about your roots and you getting started, right? You started to play at a young age of 8 years old. What was like the support like from your parents? Were they like, yeah, you know what? We're not really familiar with hockey, but hey, man, he loves it. Let's see what it's all about. Or what was that like for you?
It was definitely, hey, we don't really know much about this sport, but you like it. My siblings also played. My parents were like, as long as you guys are super interested in wanting to keep on skating and playing, you got our support 100%. Um, and then it just skyrocketed from there. My brother and we kept on playing, reaching higher and higher levels, and we each took our own path when it comes to hockey. And it took us across the country, out of the country, and I mean, it's opened so many doors, both personally and professionally for myself. And then I'm just trying to find every opportunity to give back to the sport that has given me so much.
And that's a really big quote, because especially even here with us here at AmeriGol, we're about giving back. We're about the community and how we're currently doing like this interview today that we're working on
Hmm.
with you, about telling the story. That was like one of the big assignments that I was like, you know what, this tournament is so huge and we spoke to so many different players from different countries. We hear about the sacrifices they made, giving back to their community, finding that new family. And even for yourself, starting the age and now moving on to as you get older, you played for Oregon and everything. But tell me a little about that. Your college hockey experience and how does that get you prepared for the tournament?
Um, just being able to have the opportunity to play college hockey at any level is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And my path to playing college hockey was very non-traditional. It was actually thanks to the who Riley Orr, who was the coach at the time, um, essentially recruited me and kind of convinced me to stick by in and come to Oregon, keep on playing, and I just fell back in love with the game. It was such a great experience, becoming friends with all the guys, getting into that university lifestyle as far as being a student again, being a student athlete on campus, and just enjoying all the benefits that come with that. It's just, like I said, a once in a lifetime opportunity that I want others to know about, that there are other avenues to play high skilled, highly competitive hockey that aren't just the NCAA or junior hockey. Um, if you have the want and drive for it, you can definitely play at the highest level.
Absolutely. And I think that's also important that, you don't need to be in the NCAA. Like, let's take for a moment, and I'm going to be a little bit of a homer here, but, my team that, the university I go to is Florida Atlantic University, FAU, and we have a player, Matthias Weir, who plays for Argentina, right? And he said something very similar, being able to have that experience And even though he's like, no, it's not NCAA or anything like that, but just to be having that camaraderie, that support, right, about playing college hockey is so key to improving your game at any level, like you mentioned. And I think
Mhm.
that's absolutely fantastic, which kind of now ties into the next thing. So now, when you're going from college hockey and now getting ready for the Latin Cup, what is that feeling like when you get called up to play for Team Mexico? How did that happen? Were you just playing hockey one day and you got a text message, or how did that come to be?
It was definitely a kind of a random text message that I got from the coaches from Team Mexico. They saw some info on me, saw that I had some um, Mexican heritage, and they called me up and sent me a few messages. Hey, we would love to have you come out if you're interested. It would definitely wasn't on my radar. I had heard of the AmeriGol and the Latin Cup that had from previous years,
Hmm.
but I really knew nothing much more about it by name. But being able to have that opportunity to represent a country, let alone a country that is so means so much to my family, is just an honor in itself. And it just kind of gives me like this new drive to keep on pushing, keep on working. And also is another opportunity to kind of show the next generation, look, you can represent your home country. Look, you can be from a certain country, a non-traditional market, and have a very successful career as long as you continue to love the game and put in the work.
And you brought up also another great point. Dominic, you were just really hitting on some strong and important points. Like, even when we talk about like how big it is to be called up to play for a national team, and for Matthias, when you say like there's something special, especially when you hear the national anthem when you're on the ice and you're getting to play and you hear the crowd screaming. Well, for him it was Argentina, Argentina, and now this experience for you and how your family is going to probably feel for you when they see that moment. I mean, I'm sure you told your parents what was their reaction like? I'm sure they're like, "Oh my goodness, this is huge."
Oh, my parents are were unbelievably excited. They think it's a great opportunity. My mom's actually flying out along with my girlfriend. They're going to be out there in the stands supporting me the whole way, the whole tournament. Um, and honestly, every time I'm going to be stepping on that ice, it's not only going to be for home and country, but also for them. Because if it wasn't for my family, if it wasn't for my support system, I wouldn't be where I'm at, both professionally as a in my career as in hockey as well as a player. But if it wasn't for their sacrifices and them believing in me, these opportunities wouldn't be possible.
It's all about the big change, the big sacrifices, the support from the family and our loved ones. And Dominic, we definitely can't wait for you to be joining us in the tournament this year. I'm sure you must be excited, as I'm sure you've already heard from the past years. Mexico, when they come to play, they have a lot of very passionate fans. Actually saw them last year. They had a mariachi band, man. It was awesome. We can't wait for you to be joining us this year. So, Dominic, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you soon, buddy.
I'm unbelievably excited and I'm looking forward to every step of the way.